Hi everyone, this is Extrode, and in today's video I will be going in depth on how to win more fights at Salty Towers. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The most important tip that I can give you is planning out the best drop to ensure you are the lowest out of all the players. This will allow you to get loot before your opponent. A good website to improve your landing is the Copilot landing app. This website will calculate the most optimal landing to ensure you land first. It will tell you where to jump out of the battle bus as well as where to pull out your glider. To visit this website, visit landingtutorial.com and change the bus route so that it is the same as the one in your game. Lastly, click the Find Best Drop button and the website will tell you exactly where to land and where to pull out your glider. If you don't want to use this website, I would try to land at lower elevation points so that you pull out your glider later than your opponents. The next tip to win more fights at Salty Towers is to get the weapons first. Sometimes you may not have a lower drop than your opponent. This is when you want to get a weapon before your opponent. Unfortunately, this tip is only for keyboard and mouse players. The tip is to have scroll wheel pickup enabled. This will increase your chances of picking up a weapon before your opponent. If you're 50-50ing a chest, you can also try picking up the guns from the right side of the chest. This is because the guns come out of the right side of the chest, which makes it easier for you to pick up. However, I wouldn't recommend landing on chests. This is because chests do not spawn 100% of the time. Instead, I would recommend landing on floor loot. Now let's talk about which building to land at. Salty Towers has around 10 to 25 players landing there each game. Therefore, you want to choose the best building that suits your playstyle. If you're an aggressive player, I would recommend landing at the main tower in the center. However, I do not recommend landing at the clock tower because that is just a 50-50 and a pickaxe fight pretty much. If you're landing at the main tower, I would try to 50-50 the guns at the top using scroll wheel reset. If you're on controller, you can just try to spam your pickup button as fast as possible. You can also try landing in from the side and getting a few guns and pushing to the top. The reason why you want to land at the top of the building is because you get high ground, which will allow you to get free tags on your opponents while they are still gliding in. If you are a passive player, I would still recommend landing at Salty Towers, but landing more passive. Some places to land at could include the buildings with less people at them, as well as those houses from Salty Springs, such as the blue house or the red house. If you are a very passive player, I would recommend taking the loot and just disengaging. If you are more of an aggressive player, you can try improving your fighting skills by either third-partying or pushing someone. Next, let's discuss how you can win your off-spawn fights. Off-spawn fights have many variables that determine the outcome of each fight. You want to make sure the odds are in your favor. One of the most important things is to have the health advantage in the fight. This is because having the health advantage in a fight actually increases your chances of winning it. In order to have more health than your opponent, you can try two things. One of the things is to get more shield when you're looting. There are so many ways to get shields, such as chug splashes, minis, big pots, or even coconuts. The second way to have more health than your opponent is to obtain pre-fight damage. This sounds like a complicated term, but in reality it is just doing damage before the fight starts. You can get off a few AR tags or even shotgun shots, and this will allow you to have a health advantage over your opponent. I also want to talk about right-hand peeks and angles. If you didn't know, Fortnite favors right-hand peeks because your weapon is positioned to the right side of you. Thus, you want to position yourself in the right way to achieve a right-hand peek. Since Salty Towers is a very congested area, there is not a lot of room for fighting. So, you want to find the best angles to win your fights. You also want to focus a lot on piece control. Piece control is basically placing build pieces before your opponent places them. Doing this will allow you to control the fight instead of letting the opponent control it. This could lead to an easy shot on your opponent, therefore giving more pre-fight damage. When landing at Salty Towers, you want to be very careful when taking fights. There are so many third parties at Salty Towers. Of course, you don't want to get third-partied. I've been third-partied so many times when landing at Salty Towers, and this is due to my poor awareness. This is something everyone can improve, no matter their skill level. A useful tip to improve your awareness is to turn on Visualize Sound Effects. Visualize Sound Effects allows you to see where your opponents are by giving a visual indicator of their footsteps. This will make it easier for you to know if there are third parties nearby who may be third-partying your fight. However, Visualize Sound Effects may not be the best setting for everyone. It actually disables directional audio, which gives you a huge disadvantage if you are using headphones. An interesting tip I can give you is being the third party. Being the third party is better than being third partied, and it will allow you to pick up many eliminations with ease. This will be useful due to the fact that there are so many players landing at Salty Towers. Lastly, let's cover a few ways to practice your off-spawn fighting. A few key aspects you want to focus on are aim, building/editing, piece control, and awareness. If you want to improve your aim, I recommend Kovacs, AimLab, or an in-game aim trainer such as Scavix. The code is on screen right now. These methods of improving your aim are all great, but the method that I believe is the best is probably using aim duels. Aim duels is basically high HP 1v1s, where you can fight your opponent with various guns. Of course, you need another person to play aim duels with, so I recommend playing with a friend or finding someone in a random Discord server, such as one of those scrim servers. They usually have a looking for group with a lot of people looking to 1v1, aim duel, boss fight, whatever you want. You should also practice your boss fights if you want to improve your fighting ability at Salty Towers. Boss fighting allows you to practice various angles and peaks that you will use in a real game. This is very useful, and I personally play boss fights myself. Another extremely useful map is Raider's Peace Control Practice Map. The code is on screen right now. This map allows you to practice various peace control situations that you will probably use in a real game. Of course, there is no better practice than landing at Salty Towers over and over in Arena. This is the best way to improve your fighting skills at Salty Towers, obviously. Since you are playing in Arena, you might lose a lot of Arena points. I don't think you should focus on your Arena points, as your fighting ability is definitely more important. That is all for today's video. If you did enjoy it, consider liking, subscribing, and turning on a notification bell. Also tell me in the comments below which of these tips you will be using in your next game landing at Salty Towers. That is all for today's video. Bye.